Liz and Ryan, thank you. Breaking news. It's a tough day. 7 people confirmed dead after shootings in Half Moon Bay. A suspect in custody, as we've been reporting. We are expecting an update from the Sheriff's Department in moments. There is a heavy police presence right now at 2 different mushroom farms. Our crew was there as a man was taken into custody, you see there, who is believed to be the suspect. And we are told he reportedly drove himself to the sheriff's substation. And we continue our breaking news. Good evening. I'm Juliette Goodrich. Details are changing by the minute. We have crews at the scene. We have crews here in the studio breaking this all down for the situation in San Mateo County. The Sheriff's Department expected to brief us at any minute. We will bring that to you just as soon as we get it. Let's back up a little bit. A massive law enforcement presence after the shooting at 2 different mushroom farms. Now, these are 2 separate shooting scenes. One at a mushroom farm along Highway 92 and another near another mushroom farm off of Highway 1. And we just received this photo of the suspect arrested. He's been identified as 67-year-old Zhao Chun-Li. Now, the San Mateo County Sheriff's Department tweeted there is no ongoing threat to the community. So we can assume the same suspect is connected to both scenes. All right, let's take you live now to the San Mateo Sheriff's Office, where we are expected to get a briefing and hopefully get answers to our questions that we've been reporting on. Let's go to Len Ramirez. He's been live at one of the shooting scenes all afternoon. He is at Mountain Mushroom Farm by Highway 92. Len, can you hear me? Let's take it to you now.
Yeah, Juliette, this continues to be a major police presence, sheriff's office presence here along Highway 92, one of the crime scenes that they're investigating now. It's very difficult to see because the sun is now gone, darkness is all around, and there's not a lot of light or activity in this area. It's a very, rural area right now, so we can hardly make out what's going on. But there are a number of law enforcement vehicles here. They're checking people in and out as they enter this area. You can see the officer there with the crime scene tape and somebody being checked out as they leave the area. Now, workers were obviously here when this happened. Many of them were detained for quite a while, and this may be, I can't really tell who's behind the wheel here, but this may be somebody who was here. It looks like it might have been one of the workers who was here while the shooting was actually happening. So this is the kind of thing that's going on right now. This is going to be a very long and intense investigation. We saw just a few minutes ago, Juliette, a vehicle carrying a big set of lights to light up the crime scene, presumably as the forensic investigators begin their work, trying to find out all that happened and piece together what happened at this location. Back to you.
Yeah, Lennon, as we do wait for more information, I just wanted to ask you again, these are 2 separate mushroom farms within each other. The suspect taken into custody, and we were reporting that he allegedly turned himself in, or he was in that area at the time. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, it was a very remarkable scene because we were here and, there was a situation that really erupted right in front of us because all of a sudden the deputies and they jumped into their cars and really tore out of here. At least half a dozen vehicles, maybe more, took off from this location, and where they were going was that sheriff's substation in downtown Half Moon Bay where the suspect was turning himself in. So obviously the officers left here in a very big hurry, and then a few minutes after that, maybe half an hour, another entourage of cars took off from the substation to go back over the hill and into Redwood City to the sheriff's headquarters. So just in the span of an hour, you had just an intense amount of activity with law enforcement. One, to get to the scene where the suspect was turning himself in, and then the other to take him into the sheriff's office for questioning and being detained in jail while this process goes on.
And Len, as we learn about the injuries and those critically injured and the death toll right now at 7, as we reported, there's that concern about the people in the area and finding out who the victims were. And I know that you're probably getting a sense of that right now, and that's the most heartbreaking until we find out the why.
Yeah. You're touching on one of the most heartbreaking and difficult parts of this, and that is for the loved ones of the family members to find out they're in that limbo state right now where they have probably not heard from their loved ones for quite some time, probably since they left for work early in the day. You know, we've known, unfortunately, from other mass shootings, including the VTA shooting that happened a year and a half, 2 years ago in San Jose, that these crime scenes remain. You know, the bodies remain there for quite some time, and they often have to get, you know, DNA samples and confirmation of DNA before they can make a confirmation on who that individual is. And so it's just an excruciating part of this whole mass shooting situation that we're seeing happen around the state and around the country, where the victims are deceased, obviously, but then the family members of the victims have to go through that excruciating pain of having to identify their loved ones. So that part of it is just starting out.
Absolutely. That news conference, we'll check back with you in a few minutes. Appreciate your latest information. We'll let you gather some more and be right back with you. Len Ramirez. Len, thank you. All right, let's go to our Betty Yu. She is live at the second shooting location. It's a few miles south of Highway 1. So, Betty, what are you seeing there?
Well, Julia, we know from the sheriff's office that 3 of the 7 victims were killed at this second shooting site. And I'll give you a better idea of what things look like at this hour. You can see lights in the distance there. In the last 30 minutes or so, we saw several law enforcement vehicles arrive on the scene. We saw a forensics lab and another vehicle carrying extra large lights to light up this crime scene. So we know that this investigation, this process of gathering more evidence, will take several hours into the night. What we know right now is that this is a site of a mushroom farm. I spoke to a woman who was very frantic and understandably very anxious because she does not know if her loved one, her partner, is one of those 3 victims. She tells me that he's a manager here at the mushroom farm, and she last spoke to him this morning when he left for work, and unfortunately she has not been able to get in touch with him all this time. She left the scene just in the last hour or so. She's hoping to get more information. But just to recap for you, 7 victims total. We're told by the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office that 3 of those victims were killed at this site. We are just off Highway 1, and for those in this area, this location is also known as 2125 Cabrillo Highway. And again, 3 of those 7 victims were found here. Jules?
Yeah, and Betty, I'm just curious, you know, in the day of cell phones, why maybe some aren't able to get a hold of their loved ones, or any, there must have been a number of employees in that area as well. So obviously information is coming in slowly, and we don't want to jump the gun on, so to speak, on, you know, on certain information. So we will just leave it at that right now. Betty, thank you. I'll check back with you. We do want to get to the Sheriff's Department right now. They're holding a news conference, and maybe that will give us some more information. Actually, I'm told we're going to go to Sarah Donchi, and she's got some information for us in the newsroom. Sarah.
Yeah, so Juliet, we are waiting for that Sheriff's Department news conference, as you mentioned. As soon as that starts, we'll go straight to it. But I just want to let you know that we talked to a woman who was right there when the suspect was arrested and pulled out of the car. Recall, we've been reporting that he was at the sheriff's substation when he was arrested, that he may have actually turned himself in. Take a look. Okay, so what we're looking at right there and what you could hear was the deputies with guns drawn shouting, come here, put your hands up, and they then pulled him by the arm and down to the ground. This is the moment that he was arrested. This is the first time that we're actually seeing that moment of him being arrested. Our cameras were actually there once he had been put into handcuffs and was walked inside of the substation, and there is the moment where all of the deputies showed up, lights and sirens, jumped out of the car. It appeared our Len Ramirez was at another location and that they had gotten the call that he had showed up there at the substation and then rushed to the location. Now, as far as that witness who took the video, here's what she had to say about the whole thing. All right, we apologize. We will turn around that video for you as soon as we can. She described basically what she saw when she was shooting that video. Do we have the video now? Here we go.
They had their guns drawn. They approached from behind the car, pretty tight formation, and got up to the car and were probably a few feet behind it, 6 feet behind it or so, and asked him to get out. Took several asks. And then he got out of the car, and eventually he was taken down to the ground by them.
All right, so that was really the first time that we had seen that happen, Juliet. Also, a short time ago, Governor Gavin Newsom tweeted about this incident. He wrote, "At the hospital, meeting with victims of a mass shooting, when I get pulled away to be briefed about another mass shooting, this time in Half Moon Bay, tragedy upon tragedy." So he was referencing the shooting that happened in Southern California, just outside of Los Angeles in Monterey Park in the San Gabriel Valley, where 11 people were shot and killed. Tonight, we know 7 people shot and killed in Half Moon Bay, Juliet. And again, we're waiting to learn a lot more information from that news conference, but just a terribly tragic situation unfolding there in Half Moon Bay in San Mateo County.
Certainly our hearts go out to the family, to the workers in that area. Again, the suspect in custody. Sarah, thank you so much.